Hello, everybody, and welcome to Consigned! Exclamation point. We had another drop off by a local client. We found some great stuff. We weeded through right there. Whatever, it's over there. So that stuff we won't show you. Not that it's bad, but maybe not super interesting. All right, let's get into it. First off is my favorite item. I don't think it's the best item, but it's my favorite item. There was this dead stock, new era, 1989 to 1993 tags. With the tags, dead stock. And this is what an 89 to 1993 new era tag will look like. I did a little research on it, and I didn't see an instance of a white dome being used on field, although it does say pro model. I'm going to do a little more research and make sure it's not an on field. If it is, this is going to be particularly rare. Even if it isn't, this is going to get priced up quite a bit. This was a really, really great find in not quite a new condition. It's the shaping's just a little off, but I don't think the collectors are going to care. Next up, Hartford Whalers. So this is a double line script. This is not a vintage double line script. This is a Zephyr. So these script hats are highly collectible when they're vintage. Sport specialties. This is obviously not vintage, and it's not sport specialties. However, the Hartford Whalers tends to sell very well. So instead of this being a sport specialties that I'm going to get $75, $100 for, it's going to be a $15 hat, but it should sell just because it should sell quickly, just because the Hartford Whalers tend to sell pretty well. Here is an Adidas. This might be a draft hat. I'll look it up. Adidas had the contract for a few years for jerseys. I don't know if they ever were the official draft hat, but with the Minnesota on the underbrim and a little extra design features, I think when I do the research, I'm gonna find that is indeed a draft hat. And what you want to do is, if you suspect that, if you can ID the year of the draft, put that in your listing. You want the year of the draft. That's gonna help. And then whoever the first round draft pick was may help. So it's better to have Carl Anthony Towns than who's the guy from Wisconsin? Paul Grant. A cat draft year hat. Let's put it in there. And you know what? If it was Paul Grant's year, I'd still put it in there. Might be a Wisconsin fan. Here is a Boston Red Sox. This is a American Needle, I believe. Yeah, it's an American Needle Cooperstown collection. It's an old defunct logo, Cooperstown, and I think this was a band logo. So I got to figure out what year this was, or never used logo. The guy on the hat seems very happy to see that a fastball is coming. So, all right. So next up, we got apparel. We got this great Champion Heritage. It's really patched out. It's got the patching on the sleeves. That's always nice. There's the patching on the shoulders. More patching on the shoulders. Nice big center patch. My policy is the more patching, the better. Take a picture of each patch. But let's understand something. Every time you add a patch to an item, it increases the cost incrementally. And a company is not going to add 2, 3, 4, 5 separate patches to an item unless it's one of their higher end items most of the time. I have seen a couple real low end brands just super patch it out, but the patches are they're real cheap, and you can tell by just the feel, and you can look at the stitching. The stitching's real bad. More patching the better as a general rule. What is this? Oh, Deftones. Pretty cool. This is very interesting. So this is a Wilson football jersey. That says Brooklyn on it. It's a Made in USA tag. I'm very intrigued by this item. I'm gonna do a little research. Maybe 87 might be 1987. That would be a very nice year to get. Companies tended to do that where the number was the year they produced the item. Very good condition. This might be a particularly good item. Next up, wow, this is cool. So this is a Nutmeg Mills. What is it called? I'm not gonna try to remember. Very, very nice patch on there, and I'll show you this Nutmeg Mills is the tag. This isn't as, it's not as old as this might make it seem. This is something you would see in the 50s and the 60s, but it's not that old. I think it's 80s, maybe early 80s, but I think it's a little newer than that. I think it might be post 85, but it's definitely not 90s. But I don't believe it's 70s. Just the way the patch looks, I'd be highly suspect that it's 70s. Here you go, a Packers baseball jersey. I really like whenever you find crossover jerseys. So a football team on a baseball jersey. I especially like hockey jerseys with football, baseball, basketball team on it. These sell very well. Not always the biggest, the highest prices, but they tend to sell rather quickly. This one's really nice. This is a full zip Russell Athletic Notre Dame hoodie. Full zip. It's got this mesh overlay on it. You can tell it's just really, really done very well. Very high-end piece. I wouldn't put it in my listing, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was even like team issued to a team that played for Notre Dame. Now it might be a track team. You know, it's not got a lot of value, but you can tell that was a higher quality item. So this is great. So we, you know, I got another one right here too. Here's the Wisconsin hockey jersey with the WCHA patch on it. Very nice. And here is a Minnesota Gophers jersey with the WCHA patch on it. And you can see from the tag, this is another one where it might seem to be older than it really is. This is just a local company. But I'm going to do a little research because there is a hockey museum in Minnesota and they do custom Gopher jerseys. And so this actually might be rather new. So I got to do a little research on it. Either way, it's a great jersey. I believe they sell theirs about $125. I'll put a link down there. It's a really cool store. They've actually purchased high school hockey jerseys from me in the past, which is why I know about them. You know, they bought them from me. I was like, oh, okay. I looked at their website and, you know, but they got really great Gopher jerseys, some North Dakota Sioux jerseys. I don't know if it's every style they've ever worn, but a lot of them. You know, some from the early 1900s. So I'll put a link down below if you're looking for a nice reproduction hockey jersey for the Gophers and maybe a couple other WCHA teams. Okay, this is weird. It's a Viking jersey. It's Dante Culpepper's number, but it's U.S. Polo Association. Now, I did a little searching. I can't find that this was made. Now, it's 11, which tends me to believe that it's around Culpepper's time. So my guess it was made around 05, 04 or 05. So that might explain why I can't find it. U.S. Polo Association It is actually the official polo association for the United States. So what they did was they basically took Ralph Lauren's design and then put it out there. It's not collectible as a general rule, even if they got big, yeah, they got big ponies, stuff too. But it's being all sold through discount stores. But this is interesting. This is weird. I'll have to do a little research and see if maybe they did a ooh, excuse me. Maybe they did a maybe just for the Vikings or maybe some other team. So I'm very curious to find out a little more about that. But most likely I might not be able to find anything. I'll probably price it up a little bit, not 100, but I might put 40 on it just because it's weird. Here I believe this is an Eddie McDaniel. A lot of stressing and cracking and graphic loss, but Eddie McDaniel is not a common jersey, so you're going to take them in any condition you can get them in. This is cool. This is a SGA Brian Leach Rangers tee. I'm going to assume it's an SGA because there is a sponsor on the back. That's usually how you figure out when something's a stadium giveaway, SGA stadium giveaway. That's usually how you can find out a stadium giveaway if, Toyota's on there or American Airlines. Okay, so here is a nice NFC Central Division champions. I've talked previously that I stay away from playoff championship or division championship stuff if the team didn't win the final championship, in this case Super Bowl. There are some exceptions, and I believe the 98 Viking team is one of those exceptions. The 98 Viking team particularly was a historic team, and I've still had decent luck selling 98 stuff. You're always a little heartbroken when you think about it, but then when you're also thinking about that 98 season, you're like, wow, what a great season, I got Randall Cunningham and Chris Carter and Robert Smith and Randy Moss and that big offensive line, that great defense, Eddie McDaniel. Yeah, I think Eddie was still on the team. So there are a couple exceptions, even if they didn't win the World Series or the Super Bowl, if it was a particularly amazing season. I think in Minnesota, that's probably the only one that I would buy. The Twins had a bunch of playoff teams, but nothing particularly memorable. Same with the Vikings. Now, once you get old enough, then you're fine. If I find a 1981 Western Division champion, and then it wins, well, I don't care. It's an 81 shirt. That doesn't matter anymore. But if you're talking after 2000, I'd just leave them on there unless you're talking like you're getting them for $1 or $2. It's a nice Coliseum all-stitch Minnesota Gophers baseball jersey. Coliseum sells very well. I've sold basketball, baseball, and football. Coliseum Athletics. Just in case you don't know, there you go, Coliseum. They do sell well. They don't sell for a lot. You're gonna get between 30 and 50. Usually not 50, but you're definitely gonna get 30. If it's a little rough condition, maybe 25. But yeah, Coliseum's a good seller. If you can pick them up for $5, pick them up. Here's a Jim Kleinsasser black jersey. This is very nice, very good condition. Kleinsasser was a fullback, but a very popular player with the Vikings, and the fact that it's the black version. I'm going to have to look at the market. Sometimes, that's one where I'm like, ooh, I'm going to price it up. Then I look at the market, and there's like 12 of them listed. Well, okay, sometimes the supply is there, and that's just how it is. So, here is another great hockey jersey. Minnesota Spirit. It's the AAA is Junior League, but very, very well done. This has lots of potential. Just based on the logo, you might have a buyer. Just hockey collectors in general, parent, former player. So These hockey jerseys do very well. They're made very well. They're gamers. So I don't believe they make extra ones to sell. Maybe they do, but I doubt it. Um, so yeah, so the way you're gonna get it is a former player donated or selling it, and that's how you're gonna get it. Here are the champion Penn State Nittany Lions. Number 43, I looked up real quick. I didn't see a player attached to this number. I'll look a little more just in case. I'm not, Penn State history. This is a real nice full zip hoodie, full zip track jacket, Gophers. So this I'm going to say is going to be team issued because of the number. And the fact of the matter is they're not selling Gophers soccer in the bookstore. That's just not happening. So I got no problem putting team issue on that. Wharton. So Wharton, I like to talk about how Ivy League sells quickly. And Wharton would be up there. This would be a very good business school as well. A school I couldn't get into, I'll put it that way. So I've never had a Wharton item. I do consider that to be an Ivy League type school. I think it is literally an Ivy League. And so if it sells quickly, then that's going to continue on with my theory that Ivy League apparel sells well. This is going to be a wild jersey, big patch. It's got the cool center ice patch on it. I like that. But this is a very low end jersey. You can tell because it's very thin. It's not very heavy. So these were probably sold for maybe $50. So I'm going to put 30 on it. All right. This is a small Gophers, number 5. I didn't look up the number, but if I can attach a player to it, I will. Skyumon here. That's cool. I like that. I think this is relatively recent. I don't think they were putting Skyumon on the inside collar until just a few years ago at best. Joe Montana, champion football, Notre Dame. These are actually very common jerseys, but they sell. Who doesn't want a champion Joe Montana jersey? Some of them, depending on the player, can go for a lot more. It's just that Joe Montana was a big seller, so there's lots of supply. All right, so this is the item of the day. Minnesota Vikings. Number 28. We all know who number 28. It's AD. Adrian Peterson. Oh, that's really cool. Guess what? It's on a starter. So, okay, so for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Adrian Peterson never wore a starter Vikings jersey ever. And this is a legit starter Minnesota Vikings jersey. What had happened was, I think, is someone had a blank and they wanted a Peterson jersey and they didn't want to pay $89.99 at NFL.com, and maybe they knew a screen printer, and that's how this was born. I don't know. So it's not accurate. It's definitely not accurate. I'm going to note all of these problems with it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Adrian Peterson jersey might be, might be up to a $30 jersey when used. I might put 40 on it. See if somebody thinks it's cool weird, and then gives me a little more for it. It might be the only one that exists. I don't know if there's many people that would take a blank and put Peterson on there, even if they don't want to pay that $89.99. Okay, so here is a Park High School hockey pullover hoodie. Very, very well done. It's all screen printed, but it's just the design's really nice, and we got stuff on the back. There's no patching on it, but this is something they made for the team, and Park High School is a well-known school for athletics, so that's most likely going to go to a parent or a student. Here we go. I think these are going to be hitting the thrift shops over the next 5 years quite a bit, and I think there's going to be a strong market for it. It's the ugly sweater, but I think they look cool. The Christmas sweaters for the sports team. There's been a big push by a few companies to make these, and I think you're just going to see a strong secondary market for it. Supply is going to hit, and so what's going to end up happening is it's going to hit. There's going to be a lot of it. It's going to go for 5 to 8. It's going to sell for 20 to 25, and it's going to be like that for a while. If they ever stop making them, which maybe they never will, but if they ever stop making them, then over 10, 15 years they'll dry up, and then they'll start rising in price. But right now they're going to be buy for 7, sell for 25, and I believe that's how that's going to go. There's a Marilyn Manson. We got a year on there. All right, Marilyn Manson. Really cool Wisconsin Badgers. So it's a reference to their mascot, and I would think that this is probably going to sell pretty quick unless there's a ton of supply. What do we got here? Beastie Boys. So I'm very happy about getting some more music. I tend not to find a lot of music, so always happy to get it. This is great. This is a Nutmeg Mills San Francisco 49ers. This design with the circle and the member club on the bottom. This is actually a series that they did. I really liked this series, and it sells pretty well. And it's not super common. I think it was mid 90s, maybe 96, but 96ish. But I really liked the design. I think I maybe had 2, and they both sold. And they both, it's not a $75 sweatshirt, but it's a $40 sweatshirt. All right, so another Champion Heritage. This one's great. This has got a great old school logo for the Hawkeyes. It's got patching down the side, spell out. It's got the Iowa patch on the top of the hood. I talked about Champion Heritage. You don't find it a lot. I think it's relatively a recent make, so you don't see it a lot. But I think you're gonna start seeing it more. And I've always gotten good value for Champion Heritage. Here's a Raiders full zip. It's a Majestic. Pretty basic, but Raiders always sells well. All right. Here is a nice Gophers hoodie. Here's the spell out on the sleeve. That's always good. All sewn. Now, I actually would rather have patching than I would embroidery. Embroidery tends not to hold up as well after a lot of washing, tends to bunch. But, you take what you can get. All right, so this is great. So here's a Goldie. Now, this Goldie is not common, but I've had a lot of Goldie hockeys over the years. Again, sewn spell out on the arm. But what I like about this is you got that cross stick hockey on the hood. I've actually had one of these before, and I believe I sold it for $45. So a little bit more than a basic hoodie. Here is a gamer. Client found a gamer, and you can find gamers at the thrift. So what I really like about this jersey, and I can't remember his name, I looked it up, but I can't remember his name. Here's a tight end for the Gophers. But what I really, really like about this jersey, yeah, it's a gamer, yeah, it's got some black marking, and that's probably game use. And but what I really like is it's from 2009, and it has the inaugural TFC Bank Stadium inaugural season patch. I really like that. I think it makes it far more collectible than one from 2010. And we'll probably list around $250, and I can totally see somebody just buying it for $250, but we'll see what offers come in. Here's, I believe it's Dwayne Rudd, and Barrett Rudd of the Buccaneer. Pretty nice condition. Dwayne Rudd is not a very common jersey, so I like having different players for jerseys. This is nice. This is a Nike Missouri Tigers. This is the engineered to blah, 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 blah. These actually sold for a little more than your basic Nike crew neck. So that's good. I actually haven't seen one of those, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be a series that Nike did. Alright, what do we got here? Wow, that's cool. So here's Princeton, Ivy League. This is the Champion Heritage again. You got the extra patching. And then look at this on the back. This Champion Heritage stuff is nice, dude. Very cool. I'm hoping for a nice 3 or 4X to come in so I can just keep it. Champion Breakaway, Minnesota, a black one. This isn't super rare. I think I've had 3 or 4, but always sells very well, all sewn. And last up, this is actually an eBay find of mine. So I'm gonna buy it from eBay and resell it on eBay. It's the Consigned. You probably can't tell, but it's got this wear on it. It's cracking all the way through, and it's very even. It's very cool. I really like these. This is a series that Consigned did. They have the big logo on the shoulder. Just very high quality shirt. I bet you this thing has been washed 60, 75, 100 times, and it's held up really well. I mean, you're not seeing loose threads. You're not seeing, all you got is, even the screen print is held up super well. I mean, it's cracking, but, you know, Consigned makes the best sweatshirt ever, period. Beats out reverse weaves. And that's, you know, it's my opinion, but I'm a Minnesotan. I believe to be a sweatshirt connoisseur through all these winters. And that's what I got for you for the consignment. It's a long video, but hopefully you learned a little something. You saw some cool stuff. I'll be back with a video tomorrow, and have a great night.